everybody, it's Janet with SugarShine Designs, and today I'm going to show you this masculine card, which is a double fold card and opens up to a large 10.5 by 4¼ inch size, and when closed is an A2 4¼ by 5.5 inch card size. So let's take a look at what I used to make this card. First up, we have the fishing gear CottageCutz die set, and I used several of these like the vest. And on the vest I used the perler pen liquid to make the little buttons here, which turned out very cute. Then I have the fishing tackle box and also the fishing tackle. And there are actually 4 of these little fishing tackle hooks, and I ended up using only 2 of them. I actually had 3, but I lost one along the way, so 2 just ended up on my card. But these are great cuts to use in a lot of different projects, especially for men. And I use this distressed ink along the edges of all my paper to also give it a more rustic feel. Let's take a look at this cute set called Woodlands, and it's a stamp and die cut set from CottageCutz. And first let's look at the pond here. After I colored the pond, I applied some glossy accents, and you can see here how that gave it a more watery look. Then I did the canoe to place along the edge of it, and then the little cute bee right there. It could be a firefly or whatever, but I'm calling it a bee. Then I used the lake sign on the inside panel along with the cute little frog. I just think these images are adorable. Now the inside panel has the cattails, and then I finally used the fish image here with the fishing tackles. I chose to color these images with my Prismacolor pencils, and it kind of gave it a little more rustic look as well. Now the oval comes from the stitched oval set and is 2 3/4 inch wide. It fit very nicely on this panel. And then on the very front of this card we also have a square that is 2 3/4 inch square, and that comes from this stitched square set from CottageCutz. Again, it fit really nicely on this card. Now the panels stay shut by using this little tree to keep it enclosed, and that way it doesn't flip open. But when you do open it, it makes a nice presentation here with all 3 panels, and the overall look to it is just very masculine and fun. So let's take a look at how we make this card. Now this card is made with 2 pieces, and this is the main outside piece. And it's actually 7 3/4 inches long by 4 1/4 inches high, and then it is folded, so you can see here, at the 2 1/4 inch mark. So it's got this left flat there. Now the inside of the card is a little bit smaller. It's 7 1/4 inches, as you can see here, by 3 1/2 inches. And this right fold is made at 3 1/4 inches. Now once those 2 pieces are ready, you can see how they fit inside of each other to create the flaps. And that's how simple this card is really to construct. Now once you've got these pieces ready, you can start to decorate. And I chose these kind of rustic stripe pattern paper to go in here. And on this outside card, we've got a panel that is 2 by 4 on the left side. The larger inside panel is 5 1/4 by 4, and then I've used the Vintage Photo Distress ink to ink up the edges of all the pattern pieces of paper. And that's what I did with all of the pattern pieces in this card, both on the outside larger piece and also on the smaller internal piece. I've skipped ahead a little bit here, and I've applied the distressed ink all around these 2 panels of cardstock. And now it's time to secure them inside of the card using some ATG 3M tape here. Now after this is completed on the inside, we do need to also do the outside. There is an identical 2 inch piece that matches the inside that goes on the outside of the card as well. And again, I just apply this with some ATG gun tape. At this point I can do the smaller piece that goes inside the card. And this has 2 panels laid on the horizontal with the line rather than the vertical, just for some interest. And the larger panel here is 3 3/4 by 3 1/4 size. The smaller panel is 3 by 3 1/4. And once again, I edge these using the distressed ink to give it a little bit more rustic feel to the card. Okay, at this point I've applied the panels and it's ready to put inside the bigger card. Now what I want to do is center this inside that larger panel, and then it will flip over nicely so that I can begin to decorate it. So I think you're beginning to see that the card construction here is pretty simple, but it gives you a feeling that it's a little more complicated than that, which is always nice. So at this point, it's just a matter of getting the interior piece adhered to the larger exterior piece, and then we're ready to decorate. I'll go ahead and get this done, and then I'll be ready to decorate the front panels. So here we are, and what I've got is that square panel that I've used distressed inks to go ahead and create some clouds and sky, and below that I'm going to attach the pond. Again, I use that glossy accents on to give it some sheen. So I'll go ahead and apply that, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. I've secured both the cloud panel and the pond, and now it's time to add my sun. And the sun came from another set called Clouds and Sun. And so I just used the sun part here, and I kind of debated like where to put this, but in the end I decided to put it in the middle. I didn't need the full sun in this card, so I did trim it and use just a portion of it for the card. So I've skipped ahead a little bit here, and I've applied the canoe, and I'm about ready here to apply the bee. And underneath both of those I put one layer of double-sided foam tape just to give it a little bit more lift. Now what's left to do is to secure the tree to this card. And remember, the tree serves as a little bit of a ledge for that flap to fit underneath. In order to get it up higher so that the flap fits a little bit easier underneath it, I'm going to add 2 layers of double-sided foam tape to the back of the tree. And I also have to make sure that I don't put that foam tape too close to the right edge of the tree, because remember, that flap has to fit underneath. So I'm going to apply that to my tree, and then we'll be ready to look at decorating the inside. Alright, now I've got that tree secured, and you can see how nicely that flap fits underneath our tree and how well the tree keeps the flaps from opening up. Now we're ready to move on. So starting from the left, I'm first applying the trail sign that again came from that stamp and die set called Woodlands. And I'm going to just adhere that with plain ATG tape, and then I'm going to put the little frog right next to it. Very cute little scene there. Next comes this stitched oval in this nice tan paper, which coordinates well, I think, with the striped pattern paper. And then inside of that I'm going to apply the little bit of grass and also my cattails. I layered up 2 pieces of the grass with the cattails to give it some more depth and dimension. So I've arranged this right panel now to include the tackle box, the tackle, the fish, and then I also have those little poofy looking things there. That was actually some leftover pieces made when I created the tree up front, and I just thought it sort of added some additional interest here. So sometimes you can recycle pieces that you think you might throw away, and I'd really encourage you not to throw anything away till you're done, because you never know, just like I discovered here. So that finishes up the project. I think it's very cute and very masculine. So I hope you'll get some inspiration and some ideas from these dies and from this particular card construction. So that about does it for me today. See you soon, and until then, keep crafting.